Hello and welcome back to the AA NBA podcast. I'm your host, Aiden Hammond.
And I'm Aditya.
And we're recording a little early this week, so we're just going to go ahead and skip the news and go straight to our top 15 centers list.
Yep.
So we'll get 2 weeks worth of news next week.
If there's anything more groundbreaking
Yeah.
in the next week.
So, you want to start off with honorable mentions? Did you have honorable mentions?
Oh, Aiden ended the
Fuck!
chat.
Oh my god, I
What a
just exited
noob.
out of Instagram. Are you serious? Oh my god. Sorry.
What'd you do?
Sorry. I fucking exited out of Instagram again.
Oh. Yeah, my honorable mentions were players that I would have normally had on my list, but they didn't play enough games for me to put them on here. And those players are Karl Anthony
Okay.
Towns and DeAndre Ayton.
Ooh, okay. They are both on
Cause
my list.
yeah, because Cat only played 35 games, so I was like, I probably shouldn't put him on here. If
Yeah.
he was on my list, he'd probably be 3 or 4, but I thought 35 games wasn't enough. And Ayton only played 30, so I thought, again, that doesn't warrant enough.
They are both lower because of the amount of games they played, but I did not leave them off
Okay,
because of it.
well, those are my honorable mentions.
All right, my honorable mentions are Mark Gasol, Mitchell Robinson, and Hassan Whiteside.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Mitchell Robinson. So I guess I'll just start with Mitchell Robinson and Mark Gasol. They are both important to their teams and good producers. Mitchell Robinson is one of the best young defensive centers in the NBA, but their point and rebounding stats kind of leave something to be desired.
Yeah,
Um,
they're both really just there as defensive anchors more than anything.
yeah, so I left them off. And then Hassan Whiteside is one of the least important centers in the league. You could probably plug in just about anybody into Portland and they would be about the same. They don't need a good center to run that offense, and having Hassan Whiteside put up the numbers he is proves it.
Oh, there you go. All right, who's your number 15?
My number 15 is Steven Adams. So,
Ooh, I have him a considerable amount higher. And
okay.
I want to preface this with this list. A lot of these guys, like for example, my 15 through like 8, you could make a case for any order for them. A lot of these
My
centers are pretty
15 through
similar.
12 is that way.
Yeah, so a lot of it is interchangeable because a lot of centers are, kind of similar, and the center positions become less and less important in
Yeah.
the modern game. So we'll
Yeah.
have some differences.
So, I've got Steven Adams on here. Basically, so Steven Adams is a really good center. That's not a that's not a controversial statement. He's very necessary for what the Thunder do. He's a good rebound. He's a great rebounder. He's averaging basically 11 and 10 right now, with about a block
Mm-hmm.
a game. I didn't have him super high because his stats aren't super impressive. Like it's a double double, but it's like 10 and 10 basically. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
had him a little lower. So yeah. Fuck. Oh my god, I
My
just
number
exited out of
15 is
Instagram again. What
Miles
is wrong
Turner.
with me? Why am
And
I
I
such an
have him
idiot?
here because
Why
obviously
am
he's
I
one of the
so
best
dumb?
defensive centers in the league, and he got robbed for Defensive Player of the Year, but that's a different discussion. The reason I have him this low is just because he, while he's
Hey,
good and
I accidentally
important,
exited
him and
out of Instagram
Sabonis
again,
haven't been able to work
so I
in the
missed
same backcourt
your
for a
number
while.
15. So
So,
you can just tell
Aiden
me who it
ended the
is.
chat again. Oh, what a loser.
Oh, video chat's
Give us
glitching
a
out.
second.
Hello?
You good?
Hello? Yeah, I think I just gotta like not be on my phone switching between apps because I always exit out of Instagram.
Okay. Well, my number
All
15
right.
is Miles Turner because he's one of the
Ooh,
best
okay.
defensive centers in the league, but when he's playing with Sabonis in the Pacers offense, he just kind of turned into a shooter. He doesn't really
Yeah.
play the center role that much, so I just kind of had him lower because again, his defensive impact is super important, but on the offensive side of the ball, he's basically just a spot up shooter.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to hit your number 14 or do you want me to?
I can do mine. My number
Okay.
14 is Jaren Jackson Jr. He had a
Okay.
very solid rookie or sophomore season. He put up about 17 and 5, 1.5 blocks a game. He's very promising. The problem with him is that he fouls out so much, or he gets close to fouling out so much. He averages 4 fouls a game this season, and that can really hurt your team, especially when this team is in contention for a playoff spot right now. So
Yeah.
I had to lower him a little bit just because of that. The fouling, again, he's putting up good stats and he's got a lot of promise, and he's a good shooter. He's shooting like 40% from three, but the fouling is something that's just hard to overlook.
Yeah. So Jaren Jackson Jr. is just it happens on every single list. I don't know why I'm surprised at this point. He's another guy I forgot about just completely.
Well,
But
because for the
I think
Grizzlies,
it's
he could
because I
also
thought
be
he was a
considered
power.
like a stretch four.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought he was a power forward. So whatever. I don't feel too bad about leaving him off though, because he probably would have been pretty low. Um, so my number 14 is Clint Capella.
Ooh.
So Clint Capella is a good stats guy. He's really good in that box score. Basically 14 and 14 with 2 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those are good numbers. Those are good numbers. But he's not super versatile. Um, he can't really space the floor as well as, other centers can. Clint Capella's job on the Rockets and now the Hawks is to rebound for the volume shooters' misses. So
Mm-hmm.
it was James Harden, now it's Trae Young. So his job is to just rebound when Trae Young or James Harden misses it, which, is it's it's necessary, but it's not exactly a difficult thing for an NBA center to do, especially if you're 7 feet tall and you're known to be a good rebounder. Um, so that's why I have Clint Capella low. He's a very good numbers guy. He's got very good rebounding stats, point stats, even the block stats. Most of his value is on defense, I would say. Besides the offensive rebounding is useful, but he also, you know, 4.3 of his 13.8 rebounds are on offense. Most of his rebounds are on defense. His blocks are on defense. He's also averaging almost a steal a game. So he's definitely a very valuable defensive center for the Hawks in the future. So that's my number
Solid.
14.
My number. Oh, 14. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, alright, so you're on 13 then?
Yeah.
Want
Oh,
to
wait,
do
did you
yours?
already do your number 14?
Yeah, my 14 was Jaren Jackson Jr.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So my number 13 is Brooke Lopez. Brooke Lopez
Solid.
has taken a little bit of a dip since last year. His 3 point shooting went down. He went from, let me pull up the stats right here.
I
He
think he
went
went from
from
like
about,
35 to 29, something like that.
he went from a 37% 3 point shooter to a 30% 3 point shooter. So
Yeah.
for a big guy, 30%, really for anybody, 30%, a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people expect everybody to be able to shoot 40% from the 3 point line in today's game, which is just not realistic. If you're a center and you're shooting above like 28 or 29% from three, that's like pretty solid. You are spacing the floor well if you're doing that. He's still shooting 30% from the field, or from three, sorry, which is very useful to that team. And he plays a lot in the paint. So when you're shooting 30% from the three, you're not getting a ton of shots. He's getting about 5 a game, which is for 3 point shots, that's decent, but it's also about two off what he was getting last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, his points didn't go down that much. It's about a point and a half less. His rebounding numbers are down a tiny bit. Um, Also, defensively is where he is most useful. 2.5 blocks a game is what you're getting with Brook Lopez this year. That is impressive. That is, when you have him opposite Giannis, who's, the second best defensive player in the league, when you have both of those guys on your defense in the paint, it's pretty safe to say that it's solid. So that's why I got Brook Lopez at 13. His defensive value is great.
He actually did not make my list just because of how much he's regressed in shooting, which was the main reason the Bucks brought him back this season. You know, like
Yep.
defensively
Yeah, I
he's still
understand
there,
that.
but I had to leave him out just because of the shooting. But my number 13 is another Grizzlies player, and it's Jonas Valanciunas.
Ooh,
I was
okay.
thinking about putting him a little higher because I remember checking like earlier in the season he was putting up like 20 and 15 for the or I think that might have been last season. He was putting up like 20 and 11 for the Grizzlies. This
Yeah, it was the
season
trade
he
deadline. He was wild.
yeah. This season he took a step back, obviously with Ja Morant coming in and Jaren Jackson Jr. Doing a little more with the ball, but he's still a very solid center. He's putting up 15 and 11. He's one of those guys where he's not gonna be like a big name. You know, when you think of top centers, he's not gonna come to mind, but he's a very solid player and he plays his role well, which is just to be maybe not a defensive anchor, but he can hold his own in the paint, and he's still good to give you 15, 16 points a night. And he doesn't need to have the ball, right? Like you don't have to feed him in the post; he'll get his buckets
Yeah.
on his own. So that's why I had him at number 13.
All right. You
And
want to hit your number 12?
my number 12 is Hassan Whiteside. I was gonna have him a little higher, but for the same reasons we've pointed out multiple times on this podcast, he's not reliable to be your starter. He's putting up about 16 and 14 this season, which is typical Hassan Whiteside numbers. He has the potential to be like one of the not potential because he's older now, but he could be one of the best centers in the entire league if he just tried more. But he doesn't. Once he gets his set number of points, rebounds, stats, whatever, he sort of mentally checks out of each game, and that's part of the
Yeah.
reason the Trailblazers aren't very good this season because even though their team doesn't rely on having a good big man, it does help to have one. Yusuf Nurkic was pretty important for them last season, and as Cantor came in and played his role well. But when you have a center who's your starting center that you need to play 30 or 35 minutes a game, and it's only wise to play him 20 minutes a game, he's not going to be super successful. But at the same time, those 20 or 25 minutes where he is mentally checked into the game, putting up 16 and 14, those are important for the Blazers, especially considering all their injuries they've had, all the wing depth they lost in the offseason. It's just important to get whatever you can.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that reasoning for Hassan Whiteside.
All right, what's
Um,
yours?
my number 12 is Miles Turner. So
Nice.
I know that you had Miles Turner lower,
Mm-hmm.
but hear me out. So Miles Turner is easily one of the best defensive centers in the league. I'd say top three. He should have made the uh, all defensive first or second team last year.
Yeah.
It was wild that he didn't. Probably second because Rudy Gobert, but he should have made an all defensive team. That was criminal that he didn't get on it. But this year, Miles Turner's point production has gone down by about a point and a half. But with his newer role in the offense, that's to be expected. Miles Turner has gone from a post scorer to almost a spot up 3-point shooter
Mm-hmm.
about as well as you can expect a 7-footer to do it.
He took one of the
Miles,
biggest sacrifices that a player can take because his
yeah,
stats are going to stay low because he's not an integral part of that offense anymore.
Miles Turner on a shot and a half more a game, his 3-point percentage only went down by 5%. It went from 38 to 33, but he's taking a shot and a half more a game, which can't be ignored. People like to hate on Miles Turner because he's supposed to be an all-star every year if you look at Pacers Facebook, but that's just not the case. He's also averaging 2 blocks a game. He
Mm-hmm.
missed a little bit. He's played 55 games. He missed a little bit, but those 2 blocks a game are really important to the Pacers. Miles Turner is also one of the best clutch interior defenders in the league. Um, Miles Turner's game-winning blocks happen more frequently than Pacers have game-winning shots.
Yeah.
Those are so important to the Pacers defense. And Miles Turner, even though I would say this year he probably deserves to be on the all defensive team a little less just because of the time he missed, I would still say that he's got a shot at it.
Yeah. I don't think he'll win it this year. I think last year was his window to win it because he was the blocks leader.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's still one of the best defenders in the league.
And he's still only 23.
Mm-hmm. All right, who's your 11?
My 11 is DeAndre Ayton. So, DeAndre Ayton got popped for PEDs. He pissed hot. But in the time he has played, he has been a top 7 or 8 center, I'd say. Which is
Mm-hmm.
why, I had Zion on the list last week. He's only played 19 games. If he had played more games, he would have been higher. So I'm using the same logic for this. DeAndre Ayton's putting up pretty nice stats. So I couldn't leave him off the list because he's played like I couldn't leave him on the list and put Zion on it. So that's why I got DeAndre Ayton here. DeAndre Ayton's dropping about 19 points, 12 rebounds, and then almost 2 blocks a game. Um, he's a really solid interior defender. He's like what 7 feet tall, 6'11".
Something like that. Yeah.
He's a big dude. DeAndre Ayton is going to be really important for that Suns team going forward.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to really start to kind of figure it out in these next, couple of years because if not, he's going to be Hassan Whiteside. I mean,
One
really, he's going
one
to be a
thing I
good
will
stats
say
guy.
is I feel like those 2 blocks are a little uh they seem better than it actually is because
Yeah,
obviously
he's
when you're
not a great
7 foot
defender.
tall,
They're opportunity
you'll get
blocks.
blocks. Yeah, so his defense still needs a lot of work.
Yeah,
Um, but
yeah,
offensively,
I
he's
should
there.
note that. I shouldn't. Yeah. Let me pull up his. So his defensive win shares are actually down from last year, but he still has more defensive win shares than offensive win shares.
Yeah, well, the Suns
And
aren't winning games, to be
yeah,
fair.
his usage rate. It is good that his usage rate has gone up. His usage rate is up about 3 points, mostly because they're actually using him this year. They weren't really doing that last year, which is I
Yeah.
think why his stats are going up and why they should go up and why they should continue to use him because he was the number one overall pick 2 years ago.
Hmm.
So you want to hit your number 11?
Yeah, my number 11 is Clint Capella. And
Okay.
I have him here because I feel like even though, like you said, he's not super important and he is replaceable, I feel like that's not entirely true because 5 offensive rebounds is pretty hard to do, especially when you're matched up against someone else that's also trying to get the board, and especially when you're on defense, it is a little easier to box out and get the board.
Yeah.
And even though his role is to just be a lob threat and get offensive boards for Trae Young's misses, that is really important because Trae Young is a chucker. He takes like 30 shots a game. So uh, that is a more important role, especially with the Rockets when James Harden takes all those bad shots. You need someone to, save him because he does. I remember I saw the graphic that was like James Harden's shot percentages look like tour dates because he shoots like
Yeah.
2 of
Like
17 and 1 of 18 and
yeah.
stuff. So an offensive rebounder is pretty important for that. But at the same time, he's a very standard center. He doesn't really do anything that makes him stand out or
He gets a
be
lot
more
of
valuable.
opportunity blocks, which is where those block numbers come from.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything that makes him really stand out from other centers and be someone where a team would be like, that this guy is special. He's someone different. So that's why I
Yeah.
have him a little lower. And
Yeah, and yeah, you said basically what I was thinking. It is I did kind of gloss over the 5 offensive rebounds a game. That is a shit ton. That's more than most people get. That's more than most great centers average in a season. So I should note that he is one of the best centers or the best rebounders in the league right now.
yeah,
And I also should note that he has not played a game with Trae Young yet.
mm-hmm.
Um, So I do kind of want to see if they can gel really well together, gel better than Trae Young and John Collins. Because if so, then the Hawks can trade John Collins and get some help for
Yeah, and
Trae
they
Young,
don't need to give him a max
and
contract.
they don't need to give him a max.
All right, you want me to do my 10?
Yeah.
My number 10 is Serge Ibaka. I have him here because
Fuck. I thought he was a power forward. Actually, I didn't even think he was a
oh,
power forward. I just forgot about him.
hey, come
How did I
on.
forget
All
about
right,
Serge Ibaka?
that's fine. He's putting up about 16 and 8. So offensively, he's still very important for that team, and obviously defensively is where he stands out. He's Serge Ibaka for a reason. He is probably the defensive anchor for that team. Him and Marc Gasol both are very good defenders, and Pascal, like their big man defense is through the roof.
So the
But
reason why
he
Giannis, why they
yeah,
beat
he
Giannis.
was a big reason for why the Raptors were able to win that championship. And again, while he'll be arguably your best player on defense, he can come back on the other side and put up 16 a game. His range has gotten a lot better over the past few years. He's always been a solid
Yeah.
shooter, but he's more reliable now than really ever, I feel like. And he can still bully you down in the post if he needs to. He's got the energy, even though he's maybe not as tall as some of the other guys. He still is able to, make his way around in the post. He doesn't need to just stand out at the 3 point line. So yeah, that's why I have him at
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, I just forgot about him. See, we do these lists like really close to when we're gonna do it. Like,
Yeah,
or
I
at
made
least
mine like
I
an
do.
hour
Like, I
ago.
always do them like an hour before.
Yeah.
So that's why I have people left off like this. I feel like I should explain that because Serge Ibaka definitely should be on my list. I also thought he was a power forward, which I don't, because he played a power forward every year of his career up until 2018-19. Do you know if he
Yeah.
averaged 4 blocks a game one year?
Yeah, Sergi Blocka.
That seems
Where do you think he got
wild to
that
me.
name from?
He averaged 3.7 and 3 blocks a game back to back years.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking blows me. Those are unreal numbers. That blows my mind. All right,
All right, who's your 10?
my number 10. This is going to be a little controversial, I think, because I think you're going to have him significantly higher. My number 10 is Andre Drummond.
Okay.
So, Andre Drummond, the big penguin. Um,
The Big Penguin.
the best nickname in the league. Who calls him that?
I don't. Nobody.
Nobody
I like to
calls
say
him that.
Mitchell Robinson's the Block Ness monster. I feel like that's kind of dope too. But
Yeah, I like that one. So Andre Drummond is still only 26 years old. I should note he's made 2 All-Star games already. Andre Drummond is going to be a big part of the Cavs' future. I want to get that out of the way because I don't want people to think that I don't think he's good because I'm putting him lower.
mhm.
But Andre Drummond is really good on shitty teams. Detroit's been shitty this whole year, basically. They were okay. They've been nothing better than okay this year.
Yeah,
And Andre Drummond took advantage of it. He put up in a contract year. Wait, is it a contract year for him?
he has
I
a
believe it
player
is.
option.
That's right. Okay, so yes, probably a con. So yeah, a contract year for
No,
him.
he's accepting
He
the or the player option. Dude, he already said that he will be returning to the Cavs. More than
well,
likely, if anything changes,
yeah, but like
more than
that's why
likely.
players like that's why you try to put up stats in a year where you have a player option because it's like a contract year, right?
No, he's got a player option for next season.
Oh, wait. So could he have chosen to enter free agency in this offseason?
Yep.
Oh. So yeah, that's why he that like that's what I'm saying is that when you're in a year where your
But I'm pretty sure
contract
he already said he's coming back
could.
unless anything big changes.
No, I know, like at the beginning of the year though.
Oh
Like when
yeah.
you're like he didn't make that decision until recently.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So he's been in a so while he was playing, he was in a contract year.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was in a contract year this year, put up 18 and 15. Those are wild, insane numbers. Um, but those rebounding numbers, a little bit inflated,
Yeah.
tiny bit inflated because
He does get his own offensive rebound a decent
he gets
amount of
his own offensive
times.
rebounds so much. Like he fucking bounces it off of the backboard like 5 times. And that counts as 5 rebounds.
Yeah.
Um, but he is one of the best rebounders in the league. I don't like saying that because I don't want to discredit what he's doing. Since his rookie season, he has never averaged less than 13 rebounds a game, which is absurd.
Yeah, that's
There's no
insane.
way that all of those seasons are him just getting his own offensive rebounds and bouncing it off the backboard 100 times. Like some of those, most of those are legit.
Hmm.
Um, but it can't really be ignored that he is on shitty teams. Like Detroit's been shitty, Cleveland's been shitty. Um, he's not putting up these numbers on like playoff teams or like contenders or even playoff teams or even
Yeah.
borderline playoff teams. Like these are bottom of the barrel Eastern Conference teams.
I would
I
say
think if
bottom of
you
the barrel, but they're not. I mean, if they might
Cleveland's
slide into
shitty,
the
Cleveland's
eighth seed.
they're both missing the bubble. They're both missing the bubble.
Cleveland is,
I think
but with Detroit, this season was bad. But the past few years, like last season, they made the playoffs because Blake Griffin was playing out of his mind. But even before that, they've been like a 9 or 10 seed. They haven't really fallen down to
well
like
yeah, but
12,
this
13,
year
14.
what are they like the 12th,
Yeah,
13th
this season
seed?
they were bad.
Yeah, so this season, that's why yeah, so this season he's playing on pretty horrible basketball teams. But that 1.6 blocks is pretty nice, I will say. Even though, some of them are opportunity blocks, whatever. Um, but he is this high because of those insane stats. But he would be higher if he was on not garbage teams.
Yeah. I have him a little higher, but I don't have him like much higher. We'll get to that later.
Oh,
But
okay.
was that 10 or 9?
10.
10. All right. What's your numero 9?
Uh, my numero 9 is Jonas Valanciunas.
Oh wow.
So this is actually a guy I didn't forget. Um,
You remember
so
Jonas
Jonas
Valanciunas, but
Valanciunas,
not Serge Ibaka.
I don't know how the fuck I did that. So Jonas Valanciunas is averaging pretty not similar numbers to Andre Drummond. He's averaging about 2 points less and about 5 or 4 rebounds less. But what he lacks in statistics, he makes up for in being on a better team. And
Yeah.
being part of the reason why his team is so much better than the Pistons and the Cavaliers.
And I don't know if I talked about this with mine, but he has improved his shooting.
Yeah, his efficient field goal percentage is 60%.
And even he's extended to the 3-point line a little bit,
His
you know.
3-point shoot, he's shooting 37% from 3 on a little over an attempt a game, which
Yeah.
for a guy who's never taken more than an attempt a game in a single season and never shot more than 40% from 3.
On
um
like half an attempt a game.
yeah, yeah. Those shooting numbers are solid, and he is a reliable center from the free throw line. He's shooting 73%. And
Mm-hmm.
when you're a center, especially kind of a classic sort of center like he plays, like he's not like a stretch 5. He's
Yeah.
got a lot of aspects of old school center in his game. And when you're shooting 73% from the line, that's good.
Yeah.
His team is a lot better than Andre Drummond's too. And I would say he's probably a little bit of a better defender.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
All right, so that's my number 9. Who's your number 9?
My number 9 is the big Kiwi Steven Adams.
Okay.
The reason I have him here, I know you had him considerably lower. The only
Yeah.
reason I have him here, because like again, his stats aren't gonna jump out at you. He's a good center for what he's there for. But the reason I have him this high is because multiple players have gone on account saying he sets the hardest screens in the entire league, and that pick and roll is so important. So that's
Especially in a Chris Paul offense.
yeah, That's the biggest reason why I have him this high, is just because he sets the hardest screens in the entire league. And pick and roll is one of those things where, like, if you have the right team around you, it's unguardable. If you go under, it's a three. If you go over, it's, driving into the basket. So that's why I have him here. I guess I just value screens a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly completely forgot about that screen quote. But even so, I still probably would not have had him as high as 9.
Yeah.
So you want to hit your number 8?
Yeah, my number 8 is Andre Drummond for basically
Okay.
the same reasons. He's good for he can give you 20 and 20, but he's not going to give you winning basketball. So I just kind of had to lower him for that. Again, his stats will be good, and if he's your best player, you might stay around the 9 or 10 seed, but you're never going to be a serious, really even a threat to contend in the playoffs with him as your best player. Uh, you need
If
more.
Andre Drummond was on the Warriors and the Rockets, if he was on the Rockets, they would probably be a championship team.
Yeah, but he can't lead you to wins. That's just not his game. His
Yeah.
stats are obviously a little inflated because he's the best player on his team. Even if he was a second or third option, he'd still be really good. But being the first option, his stats are a little inflated, and he's not going to be a winning basketball player.
Yeah. All right. So my number 8. So we are going by basketball reference. And even though I think myself and everybody think of this guy as a power forward, basketball reference has him as a center. So I put him in here at number 8. So at number 8, I have Spurs legend, LaMarcus Aldridge. Spurs legend, LaMarcus Aldridge.
Mm-hmm.
So LaMarcus Aldridge needs to be on a better team. I need to see LaMarcus Aldridge win a championship, or at least contend in the last years of his career, because he's not getting any younger. He's 34. He's been an All-Star as recently as last year.
Yeah.
He's a 7-time All-Star. If he retired today, he'd be a borderline Hall of Famer.
See, I feel like 5-time All NBA, I guess, but that's really all he's done. So I don't know if I'd put him in Hall of Fame category. He'd be
7-time All-Star and 5-time All-NBA is pretty
That's
close
Hall
to.
of very good. I wouldn't put him in Hall of Fame.
Dude, Jack Sikma's in the Hall of Fame. Anybody
So
can be in the
just
Hall of
because other people that don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame have made it doesn't mean we should just throw everyone that's been a multiple time All Star into the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's what I'm saying though, is he'll probably get in because he's been a multiple time All-Star, and that's pretty much the only criteria. Like
I,
Sidney Moncrief is one of the best defensive guards ever, and he didn't make it for like 30 years.
yeah, I don't know. The NBA Hall of Fame is not NBA, but the Basketball Hall of Fame is stupid. So
Yeah. So LaMarcus Aldridge, anyway, putting up 19 and 7, also a block and a half a game. He's really valuable to that Spurs team. They'd be like way worse if they didn't have him.
he also kept them afloat the past few seasons with all the
Yeah,
stuff going on with Kawhi.
yeah. He was kind of an underrated free agent signing the year they got him. And ever since then, he's been kind of forgotten about because San Antonio just hasn't been quite as good.
Yeah,
But he's very important to that team.
yeah,
So
I
that's why I've
agree.
got him at number 8. So at number 7, I've got Montrezl Harrell.
Hmm.
Um, so Montrezl Harrell and LaMarcus Aldridge have basically identical numbers. They're averaging basically the same points. Let me pull up Montrezl's rebounds.
I think he's putting up
And
8, maybe.
yeah, it's about, yeah, they're both averaging like 18 and 7. About a block a game. But Montrezl's value comes when he can bring energy off the bench with him. He and Lou Williams are by far the best bench players in the league. If I could have any two bench players on my team, it's easily those two. Like they're so valuable to the Clippers, and why I think that the Clippers will be able to
See,
contend for the next couple
the
years with
thing that
Kawhi
my
and Paul
problem with
George.
that Montrez, it's a little different because he only plays 28 minutes a game, which is still a lot. But
Lou
Lou
Williams is
Williams
basically a
isn't a
starter. Blah
bench
blah blah
player.
blah blah.
He
I
plays
know.
like 35 minutes a game. So
I know, but they're still technically bench players, and Lou Williams would absolutely never start.
yeah, but that's dumb.
But they're going to extend LA's window um, with their bench play because Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are pretty fragile. They're not going to last forever.
Yeah,
Um, but Montrez and Lou Williams being able to take some of the scoring brunt is going to be very useful in the future. And also, Montrezl Harrell is what, 25, 26?
yeah, he's coming on 27 soon, I believe.
Yeah, he is a beast for that team.
Yeah,
He is so useful for them. Um, so yeah, that's why I got him there. He's also on the 2 seed instead of the 12 seed, so that's why I had him higher. I feel like I should make note of that.
yeah. My number 7 is LaMarcus Aldridge, actually, for basically
Oh,
the same reasons. He's the biggest reason the Spurs have been able to stay afloat these past few years. Obviously, this season hasn't gone as great as they would have hoped, but he's still a very good player. And my number 6 is Montrezl Harrell. So
oh,
yeah,
okay,
I think the only difference at this point is that I don't have Cat and you do.
yeah. Um, my number 6 is actually Cat.
Well, there you go.
So Cat would be top 3 center if he had not been hurt for a majority of the year.
Yeah,
Um, it's the same sort of logic with Ayton and Zion, with they're putting up crazy stats. They just haven't played a ton of games. So I feel like I should include them, just not as high as they would be if they had played the whole season. Um, Karl Anthony Towns is putting up bonkers numbers. Like
yeah.
his
In
his
the time that
numbers,
he would play, they were like in the playoff contention for a little while, and then he got hurt.
and then didn't they lose 13 straight games or something with him?
Yeah,
No. Yeah.
after he
He
got
also
back the
played
first time.
35 games, so he really only missed 25 ish.
I think he missed about 30, 35, right? They've played
Wait, did
60
they play
some games.
65 games this year?
They've
They
played
might
it
have played
close to
60.
it,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought they might have played 60, but whatever. So, if he had not gotten hurt, he would have made the All Star game probably as a starter because he was putting up 27 points, 11 rebounds, and about a block.
Yeah.
Um, he's not a super good defender though. He's not a horrible defender. People like to say he's a horrible defender. He's not that bad. He's just not a great one.
No.
Um,
For
he's not
for
as
some
great as he could be.
for some reason I don't know why my brain instantly goes to this. The first clip I think of with Karl Anthony Towns is when he went up for that layup and tried to do a finger roll and it just completely airballed. Like he's a really good player, but that's the first clip I think of.
Yeah. So Karl Anthony Towns, help is on the way, bro. Like
D'Angelo
that
Russell's
trade
there.
deadline, that's one of the best trade deadlines I saw this year.
Yeah.
They basically revamped their entire team. They should be a playoff team next year. If they're not a playoff team, it's time to blow it up. Trade Karl Anthony Towns, trade D'Angelo Russell, get younger
Well, I
assets,
feel like I would give
picks.
them a season to gel, maybe. You
I
know,
okay, yeah, that's true. I
and maybe
give them
get some
two
other
seasons,
assets.
and then you gotta just blow it up because
Yeah.
it's clearly not gonna work if that doesn't.
Yeah.
But Karl Anthony Towns, really good stats. Just his team sucks. They're really
Yeah.
bad. Two Western Conference teams missed the bubble. His team's one of them, so that's a problem.
Mm-hmm. All right. Who's your number 5?
My number 5 is Nikola Vucevic. Vooch. Um,
Vucci man.
the I would say the main reason why the Magic were the 8 seed. Wait, yeah, they were the 8 seed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, they were going to be in the almost playoff hunt again. He's averaging basically the same stuff as last year, 20 and 9, and
Yeah.
then about a block a game. There's nothing to be said about Booch that hasn't already been said.
Yeah.
He's a really solid center. He's probably gonna be a borderline all star for the next 5 years. He's gonna put up pretty good numbers. He might make one or two more. Orlando will probably hang out around the 7 or 8 seed and then he'll retire.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he's putting up really good numbers, and Orlando's a playoff team. So Number 5, Nikola Vucevic.
My number 5 is Domantas Sabonis. Uh,
Oh.
he's putting up about 18 and a half and 12. I have him lower than Vucevic because Vucevic is like the only reason the Magic are relevant at
Yeah,
all.
that's fair.
And Sabonis is obviously really good, but the Pacers just play an overall like team basketball sort of thing, right? They don't have like Sabonis obviously was their all-star, but it's not like he's carrying the team or whatever. They play pretty well-rounded
Yeah.
basketball. So I kind of just had to give Vucevic the edge, and he's my number 4. So I think for the most part, our lists are just going to be the same now, right? Except you're going to have Sabonis 4.
My number 4 is Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah.
So I had him higher than Vucevic because, first of all, his team's a lot better. I
Yeah.
feel like that should be noted. His team is significantly better. Also, Domantas Sabonis, even though you're right, he didn't carry the Pacers, he is kind of the main reason why they are in the position they're in. Victor Oladipo's missed significant time. Malcolm Brogdon's missed significant time. Miles Turner's missed a decent amount of time. Domantas Sabonis has been the one constant the Pacers have had offensively and
And TJ
defensively.
Warren's been putting up 20 a game for them. He's
Yeah,
hasn't missed much at
TJ
all.
Warren and Domantas Sabonis are the offensive and defensive consistency that the Pacers
Yeah.
needed this year with
But
most of their
that's kind of the reason I have
roster
him a little
injured
lower.
for.
Is because like when
Well,
Malcolm Brogdon's healthy, he was an all-star caliber player. When Miles Turner was healthy, he's still a really good defender. TJ Warren's
sure,
still good for
yeah.
20 a game, right? Then you have like
But
guys
I
that are
had
like
to
Jeremy
put,
Lamb and
and
Justin
Domantas
Holiday that are
Sabonis
good.
is also an all-star, and Vucevic isn't.
He was an
He was,
all-star because the Pacers needed one. I don't think it was because he was the last player to make it into the
I don't
all-star
think that's
game.
really fair to him, actually. I think he is a lot better than you're giving him credit for. He is the main,
Well, he's still good. He's my top
he
5
is,
center, but I think
he is the
he
main
was an
reason why
all-star
the
because the
Pacers.
Pacers were a top 4 seed at the all-star break, or top 5 seed at the all-star break. So they needed to give the team an all-star.
He is the main reason why they're in this position. They are, if they don't have him and they have the same sort of injury issues, they're probably in the same sort of spot that Orlando's in.
Well, obviously, if you just take him away and don't replace him, sure. But if the Magic don't have Vucevic, they're the number 1 pick.
I don't know, because you could make the same argument about them because, why did I just think of Jordan Farmar? Not him.
Who?
No, it's not DJ Augustine. I can't remember his name, but he's putting up
Evan
like
Fournier.
what?
Evan
Yeah,
Fournier.
he's putting up like 20 points and 8 assists. So you could say pretty much the same thing about them. Like,
Well, besides Evan Fournier, what they have Markelle Fultz who's put up like 12 a game, and then John Isaac went down early on in the season. Aaron Gordon's been bad.
yeah. Okay. Who's your number 3?
I think our 1 through 3 should be
Yeah.
the same. My number 3 is Rudy
Yeah,
Gobert.
same here. Best defensive
Best
center in the league.
defending big in the
Yeah.
league. Yeah. Not big center, not big.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
best
He's
defensive
like
center,
7'3". He's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He's also, besides Donovan Mitchell, he is the reason why Utah's in the playoff picture. He's also,
Yeah.
people need to remember when you look at his scoring numbers, because that's kind of where people criticize him. It's like, oh, you're 7 feet tall. You should be easily averaging 20 points a game. He puts up 15 points, 10 rebounds. He's also sometimes the 4th option on offense on that team. People need to keep that in mind because, sometimes it goes Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, sometimes Mike Conley, and then him. So
I would say that, but Mike Conley's been pretty bad this season.
True.
But still, like 15
true.
and 10 as the 3rd option is still better than
Yeah.
a lot of centers.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I got him 3. But you have 2.
Yep. And number 2, I have Joel Embiid.
Yep.
And then number 1's Jokic. Now, I want to talk about this, just the Embiid Jokic thing on its own. Just because I have Jokic higher because he can play the full season. Right?
Yeah.
If Embiid can be the best center in the league, but he has all these injury issues. He can't get healthy. He doesn't have like a proper diet or whatever. This season that showed. He had the game where he had 0 points and he just couldn't play. Like there was a 2 month stretch where he was putting up like 18 and 8.
And look,
And that's not what you want from your best center in the
Nikola
league.
Jokic isn't exactly the picture of health in the NBA, but his game
But he can
doesn't
play the whole
require him
season.
to move like Joel Embiid's does. Nikola
Yeah.
Jokic's game is built on being a slow white guy. Joel Embiid can't be a slow white guy because his game relies on athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's fat, it's
And
more
team
noticeable.
success is
Or
also
not even
huge.
fat, just when he's not getting sleep, when he's eating chicken and burgers
Burgers.
and fries and milkshakes for every single meal. It's like, you know,
Yeah, and when it's impacting your team success, you gotta like shape up.
yeah. Um, so that's the list.
Yeah, we should probably close this out quickly because you
Yeah, I
gotta
do have
go.
to go. All right. So that's it. Like and
Yeah,
subscribe.
yeah. And if you have anything you disagree with, let us know in the
Yes.
comments.
All right.
Other than that, yeah, that's all we
All
got.
right.
Thanks
Yeah.
for watching.
Thank you. Bye.